Proud of the guys. Just recapping the last weekend quickly. Number one, I appreciate the school, the administration. It was a good family weekend. A lot of people, a lot of families, and made Saluki Stadium um, really feel like a home field advantage. And so we appreciate that. I know the players do, and just speaking on behalf of everybody, that's what college football is all about. And hopefully when we come back, yeah, they like what they saw and continue to support throughout the season. So. And then felt our guys were locked in from the beginning. Obviously, got momentum early in the game, and all three phases really contributed to that win. We're able to fake a punt, kicked a couple field goals that we needed to have, came up with a turnover. A lot of things that we have to correct. Obviously, running the football was a positive, and then but we had two turnovers. We lost the turnover margin as we continue to go through the league. That's not going to be a recipe for winning games. So. We got back in here on Sunday, turned the page, enjoy wins. That's the thing during the season. You don't enjoy them for very long, and you get right back on to the next opponent and having a great week of preparation. Came off the field this morning, and I feel like the guys are excited to keep playing. That's what we talk about it over and over. Is just the opportunities in this game are limited, and then you just have to have the maturity about yourself to understand what it takes to go out and play well on Saturdays, and that's a complete focus each and every day to get yourself prepared to go out there and play well. So that's a focus, big challenge this week. Tons of respect for NDSU, Coach Polasek, defending national champions, playing on the road. So we don't need any storylines on what we're, going up and who we're playing. Just tons of respect on really the last 15 years. The consistency of the program through I think what three, four head coaches and just their process of doing things, right? When you watch the film and when you're trying to get your team, what we preach all the time is just, complementary football, fundamental football, physicality, violence at the point of attack. That's NDSU. I think Cole Payton's playing at a super high level. A lot of respect for him. Waiting his turn and coming in. He's played at an extremely high level. He's hard to tackle, makes a lot of plays, similar to DJ, big kid that can run and throw it. He's made some really accurate throws down the field. It's good on third down, and then obviously their rushing attack is always at the top of the country. So. They do a great job, and we're excited for the opportunity.
Hey, Bucky, whenever you're ready, you can go ahead.
All right. Good morning, Nick. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. How you doing?
Hey, doing fine, thank you. I guess the first thing you mentioned North Dakota State, obviously, and the turnover margin. They've had one turnover all year, and that was an interception by their backup quarterback. So, from that standpoint, how important are the details going to be for you guys to be able to execute the details and be able to win at the margins in a game like this?
Yeah, I think it's important every game. That's what I told our team, this morning, introing our opponent and talking about it, like that. It really is not going to change no matter who the opponent is to win football games and to win in this league. Like the plan to win and the fundamental things will never change.
Yeah.
And so, turnover margin, finding a way to take away the ball, and usually it's just a mentality of that. And then we have to value the football on offense. Both teams will be talking about that. They've obviously done that at a super high level. Um, any coordinator, coach would tell you you want to try to make the other team uncomfortable when turnovers sometimes happen. So they've played with the lead a lot this season. Last week they proved to you know not get off to as great of a start and but that's what they do is just they're going to be consistent. They're going to respond well. and play 4 quarters of football. So for us, yeah, the fundamental things which our team has done up into this point, and which I quickly always remind them is you don't. You use your momentum. You've proven to yourself that you've um, have examples of what it looks like. Now it's consistently doing it. Consistency is a superpower in this game of being able to show up every single week and understand the type of fundamentals and technique and just how you go about it. The games will always be a little bit different, just how the flow of the game goes, and we have to be ready for to win all types of different ways.
Yeah. I was going to ask about special teams. Seems like to me it's been one of the underrated strengths of this team so far this year. You guys are obviously Paul has been a weapon with field goals and his big leg and everything, but it seems like also your team's able to kind of get the hidden yardage advantage too with what you're doing in the return game and limiting teams in their return game. How big a factor has that been for you guys so far?
I mean, it's a huge factor. When you look at championship teams, they're good in all three phases, and then they complement each other. Special teams is, the first play of whether it's offensively in the return game, finding a way to get a first down before the offense even gets out there, whether it's punt return, kick return, and then covering kicks as the first play of defense, right? Not giving up a first down and flipping fields and field position and all those things. When you start playing score games, those are all the things that you look back on, is field position battle, where you're starting drives. We did a great job pinning them twice inside the 10. Um, you know, Great teams cover kicks, and then they're fundamentally sound in the kicking game. They protect and are just I mean, it's just as important at any phase, right? Like so, from the game plan, the meetings, we spend just as much time in special teams meetings as we do anything, making sure everybody's on the same page and understanding the scheme for the week. And then we got to go out there and execute on Saturdays.
How much, yeah, I asked too, how much emphasis was put, in the off season, spring practice, preseason, whatever, on avoiding the penalties during special teams that can set an offense back or help the opponent out? Because it seems like you guys have been able to avoid those this year too.
Yeah, I mean, those are emphasized all the time. That's trusting your technique and not being selfish. A lot of times, not that the kid is trying to be selfish, but if you get beat in your leverage, whether it's on punt return, that's when you usually see that you're in some type of trail technique, and then you're trying to make up for something, and you have to understand your technique in different situations, different phases. And when you do that, you have to put the team first, right? Penalties are
Yeah.
are critical in those, and so Coach Frame does a great job of just from spring football, from our drill work, from training camp throughout the season, and then we got a great group that gets out there. And when you look up and down that line of the guys that you trust, you usually find yourself starting on special teams when you earn people's trust. And being able to play clean football is super important.
Yeah. Well, with a couple of days after the game now, where are you in terms of the injuries? I know obviously Sean missed most of that game, and Andrew Bim was sidelined. Where are those guys at now? Is your team healthy otherwise, other than those two guys?
Yeah, I think your normal, not any serious injuries in that game. Both of those guys are kind of day to day in their process. They both, like I said, after the game, were groin injuries. So just seeing how they respond. Those guys will work their tail off in the training room with the strength coaches there in the weight room today, where we're at. And then guys got to be able to step up in their the spot. That was probably one of the biggest things of coming out of Saturday is is watching guys get a bigger load of reps and um, playing well. And yeah, as we go through this thing, just like every team in the country, right? Nobody wants to sit up here. I said that last year when we went through a slew of them. Nobody cares. Nobody asks for the season. What's your record? And you get some bonus points for having injuries or feel anybody feel sorry for you. Not in this game. So that's you know that you got to recruit that way, and you always got to be developing guys ready to go. And so whether it's one position, one game, the next game, somebody's got to be ready to roll. And unless you're intently, preparing yourself like you're going to go get like Ben Fiegel got 58 reps in the game up into that point as high as snap total on defense, I think was 10. And then you
Mm.
go play 58. And, it's a cool thing to see, but maybe you're the backup guard or you're the backup, corner that's got to go in. Are you ready to go play 58 snaps? And we've talked about that. And so that's the way you got to prepare. And Ben did that, and our depth will be tested throughout the season.
Yeah, you kind of led me into my next question. How easy is it then to be able to emphasize that when you can go to the video and show a Ben Fiegel getting 58 plays and coming up with 12 tackles? How easier is that to emphasize that for other guys who maybe are thinking, well, I'm not going to get to play because this guy in front of me is just doing so well and blah blah blah. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, no, I think it's always good when you see your peers going and doing it, and then there's a real life example of it. You obviously talk about that all the time. I mean, from our developmental practices on Sunday nights. On Sunday nights, the guys that played in the game, we do some corrections and do some things. They get in the pool and they do a little bit different than guys that didn't play or play under 10 snaps. They're out there in pads and and practice. I tell them every Sunday night, like, one of you guys are going to be playing a significant amount of reps by the time the season's over, and how you attack this thing is going to be the difference on how you play when you get out there and you get your opportunity. And so you can say that, and it resonates with some, maybe not with others. But when they can see a guy really get that opportunity and be ready to do it, and his peers see that, like Fiegel's up here meeting constantly,
Mm.
with Coach Mack, who we've talked about a lot, and Shug was the defensive player of the week now. I think we've had three of them maybe at the linebacker position um, throughout this. And Ben's right there. I mean, he has a great leadership in that room, seeing what it's supposed to look like. And he's a younger guy that got his opportunity.
And two, the depth you've accumulated at running back, I was going to ask about that. Yeah, if Chandler had some big runs, Eddie Robinson had that 80-yard run, Lim Wash came up with some good stuff last week. How nice is it to have a variety of not just a number of guys, but a variety of different ways to run the ball and get the job done?
Yeah, I think, the health, obviously we talked about LaShawn's groin. But those guys don't have a ton of hits on their body and staying fresh, and those guys all do a little bit, have a little bit different style about themselves. Chandler keeps coming on, is a physical guy, physical runner. And Ed runs with power and also is probably the most elusive out of those guys as far as his quick twitch, and I think he's shown that consistently. So it's finding ways to do that. Lim runs extremely hard and does a great job in all three phases, catching the football. Ed does a great job catching the football. So we just got to continue to do a great job of those guys being unselfish and us doing a good job of finding ways to let them touch the ball.
All right, that's all I've got, Nick. I appreciate your time.
All right, appreciate it, Bucky.
Hey,
Thanks.
thank you.
Thank you, Bucky. Coach, you touched on it. Shug Walker getting Defensive Player of the Week yesterday. Talk about the work he's put in and now getting that recognition, getting the acknowledgement from the Valley, and having the game like he had on Saturday.
Yeah, Shug's a great player. I've said that all along. I feel like, we have four of them to start the season that you could roll guys out there and play at a super high level. And so yeah, he had. I think when you watch Shug, he can. he can run and he's physical. He's got the right mindset. And he was locked in and had a great game. Had the tip ball that got, picked by Donnie. So disruptive. And so I'm proud of Shug. He's a great player. He's a great locker room guy. He's got Shug brings a smile to people's face. Like that's what I said. Like when you think about the attitude of a linebacker, Shug Walker has that.